All right, welcome to our inspired class from the Pinnacle branch and the Coastal Gems. So we have our region, we span from Sydney down to the far south coast and to the Canberra and the Snowy Mountains. So welcome everyone, and I'm sure there are people who don't live in our area from far and wide. Sometimes we get people from the UK, sometimes from New Zealand. So it is amazing to have you here, and we look forward to inspiring you to try some new things in your Thermomix and from Cookidoo. So tonight's all about winter warmers, and we've got 5 dishes to show you. Actually, might be 6. And we'd love you to write down some notes. Each of us might do them slightly differently, modify them for our families, and we'll share a little bit about our journey as consultants tonight as well, and anything that might be relevant to you guys. So, Angela, you're up first. What are you making for us? And off you go.
Hi, everyone. I am making a dish called Ayam Kapitan tonight. It's a Indonesian/Malay word for means chicken curry. I lived in Indonesia for 3 years, so I do love this recipe. It takes me straight back to going to a restaurant in Jakarta for a local curry. Olivia Tan wrote this recipe. She's very active with Thermomix in Southeast Asia. She's written 2 books for them. So it is genuinely, I can attest, and having looked at Olivia's background, it is a very authentic recipe. And one of the tips I'm going to give you as I go is, in some ways, perhaps it is just be careful. It might be a little bit too authentic. It does call for a lot of chili. And my very strong advice to you is go very, very easy on the chili. You might have to do a little bit of trial and error, make a few notes as you try to make this dish just to get it right. I've pegged it right back tonight to be on the safe side. I think the recipe wants somewhere in the order of about 8 to 12 dried chilies. I've completely wussed out and gone with 1. So I'm just going to pop that in now, my dried chili, which I've just had soaking. And then I'll actually follow the order on the recipe here. So I'm popping in, it says vegetable oil. I've gone with some coconut oil since I'm going to be putting some coconut milk in later on. I've gone with 2 fresh long red chilies. It does say 4 to 8. But as I said, I think there's a bit of a difference between what would appeal to taste in Indonesia and Malaysia compared to Australia. So go be conservative with that, and definitely make sure you've de-seeded it, all your chilies. We've got our 2 garlic cloves going in. There was no echalot at Coles this morning, I'm afraid, so I'm just compensating with a little bit of extra of the red onion that I've just quartered. The recipe does call for candle nut. Olivia's hint is that macadamia is also fine. I've always made it with macadamia. I have no complaints about that. I'm very happy using macadamia nut. Bit easier to find is the main reason. I'm happy to just settle and use that. My fresh turmeric. My shrimp paste. 20 grams of water. And the chili, my dried chili, drained and soaked, which I've just popped in at the start. And we're going to take it all the way straight to speed 10 for 20 seconds. So there you go. Doing the usual wonderful job that we've come to expect from a Thermomix when it comes to making up a curry paste for us. And you just got to bear with me because all that onion and chili, all those essences have rushed straight to the top of my bowl and my eyes are watering. So I'm just doing the usual guidance we get with Cookidoo to just scrape down the sides of the bowl and the lid. It's all over the lid as well. That's okay. It's all going to come off nice and easily. Pardon me, I just need to retrieve my simmering basket. Fortunately, that was handy. And then we start with our first initial cook, which just goes for 10 minutes. So I'm going to turn it on for 10 minutes and I'll hand back to you, Claire.
Thanks, Angela. I'm just going to bring up Megs now. And also Ilham, who is going to share a little tip. So Megs is going to show us how to peel potatoes, of all things.
Woohoo! An important skill, and one I don't have to do by hand anymore because I have my trusty Thermomix. So the first thing to do is you can either use the mode setting of peeler, or tonight, because I'm doing mashed potato for two, I'm selecting the recipe that has peeler in it. So it's slightly different from the mashed potato without it, in that we add a little bit of cheese. Ilham is going to show you how to put the peeler onto the blade, which is super exciting and very important.
Okay, so there's always a high side of the blade and the low side of the blade. And now your peeler or blade cover peeler has this sort of wave. So this is the high side and then that's the low side. So you just sit it on top of the blade, just like that. And that's how it sits in your bowl. There you go.
Excellent. And in this particular recipe, there's also one of those, I don't know if I can show you, little video that explains about how you do that as well. So some of the recipes have that included. Again, just to take away the guesswork so you're super comfortable in what it is you're doing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 250 grams to 300 of our potatoes. Ensure the potatoes are cut small enough to fit through the hole in the mixing bowl lid. So I don't know if you know that, but this is a really good tip. We don't want to put anything in our bowl that won't fit through that hole. So a good way to do that is to pop our potatoes straight through the lid, and then we know they'll be a good size. Oh, that one was a bit tight, but we got there. Oh, I put way too many potatoes in. Sorry, this is a recipe for two, but when I make beef bourguignon, usually we make extra potatoes, so then we have potatoes for the next day. So, well, let me just try that again. Oops. Sorry, everyone, I got a bit excited. So I'm just going to tar that down. Actually, that was probably fine. Make sure it's on 0. Oh, so yeah, that was 3 potatoes. So we will stop there and we'll go next. We're going to add 600 mils of water. Has anyone used the potato peeler before? Just give a thumbs up as I'm doing 100 mils more of the water. Great. Grace, we're going to peel potatoes. So now, literally, it's ready to go, and I'm just going to engage the mode that you can see already. So it's already there, and now it's going to peel the potatoes. I'm tempted to take the lid off, but I think I'll make a mess. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to hand over to Ilham.
Okay, well, I need to grab, is that my turn, Claire? Wasn't it your turn next? I'm happy to go if you want me to.
Yeah, you can go if you like. We can jump around.
Okay, I just need to grab my water. Okay, sorry, I had to pre-warm some water so I can skip certain steps. So, hi guys, I'm Ilham. I'm going to be making sous vide pears with cinnamon sauce. Who's used the sous vide function before? Anybody? Just a thumbs up or mention it in the comments in the chat. Sorry. Okay, so the first couple of steps is actually making the cinnamon sauce. And so I've pre-made that today because we don't have a lot of time. So just to save on time, I've done that before. And all it is 120 grams of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of natural vanilla extract, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and 50 grams of water. And then that mixes for 4 minutes at 100 degrees on speed 2. Okay. The next thing is to peel your pears and core your pears, which I've already done. And then you, once you've cored it, you actually put the sauce all over. You put everything in a bowl and you pour your sauce all over it. Then you put it in one of these vacuum sealer bags. We sell it in the mix shop, and you've got to use these, you know, the wand to actually just put it over this bit there, and it sucks all the air out. If you don't have a vacuum seal bag, I do have a trick to show you. So this is just a little bowl of water. And so I've got just some raspberries in just a food safe Ziploc bag. So you want to make sure that you seal the Ziploc bag 3/4 of the way. So that much. And then you can dip it in a basin or a bowl of water. And as you push down, the air will actually leave the bag. So you're causing like a vacuum seal. So that's your homemade vacuum seal without a mini vacuum seal, without the vacuum sealer. Okay. So of course you can use whatever vacuum seal you have. If you don't have that, just do a pre-made homemade version. Okay, so the next one thing to do is it shows you a video like just our Megs video, but it shows the old blade calculator, just in case you guys are wondering what this device is. It's an older one. It's not the one that we have right now. So that one was plastic, and that one couldn't peel. So I've got mine in there already. And then the next thing to do is to actually put the vacuum sealed pears into the bowl, and then you've got to pour your water in and cover your pears, making sure you don't go over the max line. Okay, so I have preheated this water because the first thing it does is cooks the water for 15 minutes at 80 degrees. So just to skip that step, I've already heated the water. So I'm just going to pour that in. Just to cover, trying to be really careful because it's hot. And the amazing thing with this recipe is that you can actually do this beforehand. So you can serve these pears hot or cold, but being that it's a winter warmer dish, you want to serve it warm. And so you want to make sure that your lid can close. And then I'm going to skip the warming of the water, and I'm going to go, oh, I forgot the lemon juice. Oops, almost forgot the lemon juice. You have to add lemon juice because otherwise it's going to oxidize your blades. So this just helps. So that's 30 grams. Let's go back. I'll just pour that into the water. Grams of lemon juice. I'll put that lid back on. And then that's going to cook for 1.5 hours at 80 degrees on the sous vide mode. I'll turn that on, but I don't know, it makes it, Claire, is it okay for me to show the end result already?
Well, yeah, I'll show you the potatoes. So that's our peeled potato. So that was 4 minutes. It seemed like the longest 4 minutes ever, but it was actually super quick. It was literally 4 minutes. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to rinse them off, and then I'm going to chop them in little bits, and I'm going to put them in the steamer basket and then cook them. So I just want to show you that's what it looks like. Where's the camera? Can you see it? So it just roughs it up a little bit, but it pops up the potato, but all that skin is gone. So it's super great. It's available in the mix shop. It's just so great. Literally the time it takes to make yourself a coffee is that your Thermomix can peel some potatoes for you for dinner. So it's a super great time saver.
And it's also available as a host reward, isn't it, Megs? So Ilham, are you showing us the end result now?
Yeah, and I just realized I don't have serving serving spoon, so I'm using my hand, but that's okay, it's just for me and my family. So this is the end result. I actually pre-made this before the class because I know no one wants to sit through 1.5 hours of cooking. So this is my dish done. Now the cinnamon sauce does make heaps. I mean, with it actually was able to marinate the 4 pears that the recipe requires, plus an additional 4 that I'm actually going to be cooking right now. So just bear that in mind. So you can actually make 8 pears with the same amount of sauce from that recipe, and you'll still have sauce left. And I'm just going to show you what to do. So my recipe is so easy. I'm done, guys. I'm literally finished once I show you the end result. So this is, I just pour the sauce over that. And then you toast some, what do you call it? Flaked almonds. And then you just put some flaked almonds over that. And you can toast your almonds. Right now, these aren't toasted just because I didn't have time. But it is absolutely delicious. You can serve that with custard if you want, or ice cream, but as is perfectly fine too. It's delicious.
Amazing. So are they extra soft, are they, from cooking for the...
I can show you. I've actually got a little just throwaway spoon here right now. Maybe not a good enough spoon to cut with, but look at this.
Oh, yummo.
So good.
Thank you, Ilham.
All right, I'll just quickly show you because sometimes people are interested. This is the leftover peel when I just strained it through the Varoma dish, and just a little bit of starch that pops up in the water. So all I did was I popped the potatoes in there, gave them a quick rinse. Then I needed to cut them, finding some bench space. So I just chopped them up, popped them in the simmering basket, which is the next step. I always find having the simmering basket this way because that way you can get it out easily. And then I'm going to add 600 grams of water and I'm going to cook for 20 minutes. So I'll hand over and I'll see you back in 20 minutes.
Thanks, Megs. All right, I'm going to spotlight Angela and myself because we are both up. I'm actually going to show you guys the mulled wine. It takes about 20 minutes. So I'll get that started. For those that are familiar with Cookidoo, I've saved it all into my weekly meal plan. For those that aren't familiar with Cookidoo, you can save your recipes to your week. So I chose the pear mulled wine recipe. I've made it before and I really enjoy it. I don't think I'll be able to drink a whole lot on my own though, so we'll have to see if I've got some neighbours willing to take some. The first step is to tip in. I actually found this one in the cupboard that my husband got for his 40th, so you know. It says to use a Cab Merlot or another medium-bodied wine. I only had Shiraz in the cupboard, so there we go. Whole bottle of wine. Orange, zested and juiced. So in here I've got some zest from an orange. I just peeled those. Some orange juice, and also 4 pears peeled, cored, and cut into quarters. So I'm just going to put all of those in there. It says to add 150 grams of sugar. So I didn't have the sugar because I wasn't going to add it, but I feel like I probably should so that we make it a little bit more authentic. I'm just not going to add quite so much. So it says 150 grams. There's a little bit of sugar in there. It doesn't matter which one. You could probably sub it out with some honey if you want a slightly different sweetener. 200 grams of water. And some spices. So 1 pimento, 1 tiny little pimento, which is also, if it's ground, it's allspice. So 1 of those. I've got a cardamom pod, a cinnamon quill. So cardamom pod, cinnamon quill, and 4 peppercorns. And then I just add my lid. And we cook for 18 minutes at 90 degrees, speed 1. So while that one goes, I'll get Angela to come back. Your first cook's finished, isn't it?
It is. So now the recipe's telling me to add 4 to 6 chicken lovely legs. Chicken lovely legs are actually just plain old chicken drumsticks. I did see them the other day in Woolworths and they had been pre-cut, but I just tend to use chicken breast, and I think chicken thigh would also be fine for this recipe. Again, that just does come down to personal preference. Cooking with the bone still in is very, very traditional in Southeast Asian cuisine. It is, full disclosure, it totally does make the flavour better. I just don't really like trying to eat something like a curry and trying to wrestle bones out of it, basically. So that's why I just go with some chicken breast or some chicken thighs cut up into bite-sized pieces. So I just go with 500 grams of that instead of the drumsticks. 150 grams of coconut milk. Just give that a bit of a scrape. All the things my wonderful consultant colleagues have been describing tonight are available as host rewards. As we've been saying, we've been talking about the vacuum seal wand. We've been talking about, I'm just adding the sugar and salt. We've been talking about the blade cover and peeler. I'm going to make mention of my thermoserver later on, and of course, Cookidoo. I haven't paid for any of those things, and I didn't earn them as host rewards either. I got them all as freebies for being a consultant. So on top of commission, we're very, very fortunate. We do get the opportunity to earn a lot of really, really awesome stuff, a lot of really first release stuff from the mix shop. It is a lot of fun. It's surprisingly motivating, and it's a really nice moment when the postman knocks at the door with your parcel for the month.
I agree. You get so much free stuff. And through my years of being in Thermomix, I don't think I've ever paid for a Thermomix. And I've had 7 different ones along the way. So TM31s, TM5s. I've earned 3 TM6s. And yeah, it's just super incredible.
Claire, I'm on my 15-minute cook now, so back to you.
Okay, cool. All right, I think it's, I must be showing you guys the Lala chicken. So I'm going to leave you on Angela just for a little bit so that we can get this recording working for us. So I'm going to move the mulled wine to my other Thermomix. So just give me 1 sec. I'm going to manually punch that into 15 minutes. 90. 31. All right. So coming up into reverse. 1 sec. All right. Now the Lala lemon butter chicken. I love this dish. I make this all of the time. I wouldn't say it's a butter chicken flavor. If I was to describe it, it's sort of more like maybe a casserole with chicken and some delicious flavors. So if you haven't ever made it before, I highly recommend this one. So I'm just going to go to my week. So I've made this many times. I like to make it low dairy, which I will explain in a sec. Now I've done some of the pre-steps. So let me just show you what I have done. For those that aren't very familiar with the TM6, here is the screen. What I have done is I've done the Parmesan cheese. So I put that into the Thermomix, milled that up, and there's my grated cheese. I put the chicken into a bowl and I seasoned it with some paprika, salt, and pepper. And then I cooked it up. But I will just head into this step. So I'm just getting out of my other recipe. And so you can actually choose the step that you want to go to, and then it continues. So the first thing I've got for that one is my 3 cloves of garlic. So there they are. They go inside my bowl. And I'll take you back again so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to chop those up. The great thing about guided cooking is you don't have to sort of think about it. Whenever I cook manually, I walk away thinking it's going to stop, and then I come back and it's still going. So you just kind of get used to that. Here's the garlic for those who haven't tried little floats before. And if you want to chop just a slither, you spin through the lid while the blades are spinning. All right, 20 grams of unsalted butter. So just nice blob in there. Measuring cup on, and that's going to cook for a little bit. Now, while that cooks, I'm just going to show you what I've done with the chicken. So I've used my cast iron pot. So this one you can get in the Thermomix mix shop. And so one of the steps is you put some butter in your pan, whatever pan that is. I've put it in the one that's going to go in the oven. And then you fry the chicken. So I buy the chicken that has bone in. So I buy the chicken that's got bone in, and I fry it first on the skin side, and then I fry it on the non-skin side. So that's what you do for that. And then come back to, so that's sort of the step that follows this one. Now from here, so there's my garlic and my butter. I just cooked the garlic a little bit. Instead of double cream, I add coconut cream. So instead of having the extra dairy, I'm just going to add some coconut cream to that. And I've done it every single time and no one complains. So I'd say it's a winner. Now 40 grams of lemon juice. This is one of our mix up things. I love this. I think Beck McAllister got me onto this one. Beck got me onto lots of cool mix up things actually. And so you basically just cut the lemons in half, maybe top and tail them, put it in upside down, and then hold it over, and it just squeezes the juice out beautifully. And I find it just, and then you come out like this. It squeezed all my juice out, and it just makes it mess-free and easy to do. So that's already 29, so 1.5 lemons. There we go. All right, got my 40 grams of lemon juice, a teaspoon of dried thyme, 2 teaspoons of chicken stock paste that I did have somewhere and I don't know what I did with it. Now, if anyone doesn't have chicken stock paste, you can just use veggie stock paste. I love this stuff. It's so flavoursome. So it's just something you can use instead of veggie stock paste. You use actual chicken thighs or chicken breasts and you mix it with some veggies. So it just adds a slightly different flavour. So 2 teaspoons of that. And again, you can freeze that one and it lasts 3 to 6 months in your freezer. 200 grams of water. I find you don't need quite so much water. Makes quite a lot of sauce. And then grated Parmesan. So I did grate a little bit extra. I just won't put quite so much in. If you wanted to make it completely dairy-free, just don't put the Parmesan in. And that one cooks for 18 minutes at 80 degrees. So in my glider board, I love that. Just moves it around my kitchen. So that is my Lala's lemon butter chicken getting ready to cook my sauce. So I'm wondering, Megs, how are you going with your mashed potato? It's very quick tonight. You're on mute, Megs, but I'm going to bring you in.
Alrighty. What I can do is, we've got 9 minutes to go. I could do a quick switcheroo and start on the beef bourguignon because this is one of my favorite dishes and I'm very excited.
Awesome.
So just let me do a quick switcheroo.
So the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, if you've ever thought about being a Thermomix consultant, we do have a half price business kit at the moment. So normally it's still an amazing price. It's $150 for the kit. You get everything that you need to start. Travel bag, thermoserver, thermomat, all of the cool things, and then an apron, which Megs is wearing. But at the moment, till the end of the month, it's $75. So something to think about. You've got nothing to lose by being a consultant, having a go. You will learn so much about your Thermomix. And if you don't end up with something free, I'd be very surprised. But yeah, you'll learn heaps about your Thermomix. You'll tap into this amazing community that we have as well.
Alrighty. So I'm just going to quickly go into my week because I've already planned this. Beef cheek bourguignon. So the first tip is beef cheeks aren't as easy to find as you think. I'd never made this before. So I found them at a supermarket. I know that's where it is. I'm scared to tell anybody who lives in Canberra in case you find yourself at one of our Coles up in the meat section and get the beef cheeks. The other thing is that they're tougher to cut. So it's very important to have a sharp knife. Also be super safe when you are cutting the beef cheek. But that was surprising for me, particularly because this is a slow cook recipe. So that's another important fact, which I learnt the hard way. I was doing a big cook up on the weekend, was going to have this beef cheek bourguignon, did this little step I'm going to show you now, but it's a 5-hour slow cook. So I did not have beef bourguignon for dinner that night. I had my lunch the following morning, or that had my lunch, and then I had beef bourguignon the following day. So 3 cloves of garlic. I've discovered, look, when it says 3, it means like 5 or 6, unless it's the dip and it says 1 clove and then you just do 1 clove. So if you're not cooking the garlic, but if you want more garlic, throw more garlic in. So 3 cloves of garlic. It says 2 sprigs of fresh thyme leaves only, so I picked that earlier today. We're going to put that into the mixing bowl and we're just going to chop it up super nicely. So good. I have not chopped a clove of garlic for the last 2.5 years since I've been a consultant. It's such a lovely experience just to stand here and know that someone else has chopped up my garlic. So I'll just show you in case you haven't seen the Thermomix before. But that was 6 cloves of garlic and 2 sprigs of thyme, leaves only, and we just chopped all that up very nicely. And the other great thing about using the Thermomix is you just, with guided cooking and Cookidoo, you just follow the steps. So my next step is I'm going to add 20 grams of olive oil. One of my joys in life is getting it bang on. Oh, so satisfying. I didn't know those little endorphins and how excited they get when you get it right on the money. And then next we're going to add 20 grams of salted butter.
And one of the cool things is Megs didn't really cook much before she got a Thermomix, which I love that too.
I absolutely did. I could cook, obviously. I got this far in life, but it was definitely not something I did on purpose deliberately for people. And I was certain there were things that you could only get from the supermarket or from restaurants. So I actually made gnocchi with ricotta on Monday, which I never would have done ever. So the next step is 150 grams of white cocktail onions. Now, I've discovered, because I've made this so much, that these are the best. So this is the Rosella brand. You can get a little 150 gram jar, which is fantastic. I get the bigger jar just because I make this so often. So they're drained, so I've already drained them, just going to pop them straight in. And then it says we're going to add a little bit of salt, 1/4 teaspoon. These I really love, also available in the mix shop. They're nice in regards to the weight of them, so you can actually put them in the dishwasher and they don't fly around everywhere. And then I'll just show you my beef cheek that I cut up earlier. So this has kind of got 2 steps. The first is we're going to use our high heat mode before we use our slow cook. So I cut up the beef cheek earlier. And what we're actually going to do, so there's my beef cheek, but it's in 2 parts because I'm going to, I don't know if you know, but you can press the 3 little dots and you can go to scales. So in the recipe, I'm now going to weigh in 400 grams because it says about 400 grams. And as I said before, it's really exciting when you get it bang on. And then I'm going to use my high heat mode. Okay, fantastic. I'm actually going to put the splash guard on. Now, the splash guard is very important in regards to a safety feature. So because we are using high heat, it's always important to acknowledge and to follow the instructions in regards to safety. So the splash guard is really good because it's going to go right over the hole in the lid because we've just put that oil in there and the butter and we're using high heat. So we need to make sure that we're staying safe. So now I'm going to use that for 8 minutes, and I'm going to be basically using that high heat to brown, like sear that beef, but I've also got the garlic in there, the thyme, those little cocktail onions. So 8 minutes to somebody else, and then I'll show you what we've just done.
Amazing. Thank you, Megs. So my mulled wine is nearly ready. So I'm just going to cut it short by like 1 minute. And just wait for my timer. All right. So here is my mulled wine. Let me just get my screen to show you. So here it is with the pears and the spices and the orange. And I now am going to strain that one. So the one thing I didn't get was a jug. Give me one sec. Any jugs around the place? Okay, so I've got a jug. And it says to use to strain it. And so what I'm just going to do to strain is put my basket inside my bowl, just like that. And so whenever you're straining something, then all you do is you hold the basket in, and it strains all of the solids out and allows you to come out with the liquids. So that is a nice, easy way of straining without making too much mess. Did you guys know you could do that? Sometimes we like to strain it through the basket and make a really big mess, and you don't have to do that. So mulled wine smells pretty amazing. I don't know if I cooked out all of the alcohol in it, but great for winter, warming up and serving to people. And yeah, if you don't end up drinking it all, you can actually store it in the fridge for a couple of days, put it back into your Thermomix. You could potentially do warm-up mode. So if you've got a TM6, you've got a warm-up mode, or you could just set the dial and choose the temperature, but you wouldn't want to go above 90 degrees for that one. So if I was heating it up, reheating it to drink, probably just go around that 75, 80 degree. How's your smelling, Megs? Coming through your splash guard?
Oh, it's so good. It smells so delicious. And I can't believe just how delicious it is. And the recipe is incredibly simple. And beef bourguignon, it's hard to spell, but it is so delicious. And really, I'm going to do a couple more things, but I'm going to add some carrots, 2 types of mushrooms, a bit more of the beef cheek, and then it's going to go on a slow cook for 5 hours. So I do have one that I prepared earlier to show you. You don't have to wait for 5 hours to see the end result. But yeah, no, I don't know if you can see the steam. Can you see that? I don't know. It's so good.
This is so good. It's quite rich in flavor, actually.
You sound surprised, Claire.
It's full bodied.
What's been used to Shiraz?
So Megs is like half an hour away from me, so you can't just zip up the road and grab some.
No, but I might have to make my own tonight.
Yeah. Angela, how's yours? How much time do you have left on yours?
I'm literally up to my last steps now, Claire.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to take me off and come to you.
Beautiful.
Now I've lost you. There you are.
So really easy now. As we said, we're up to step 24 out of 28. So I'm just going to pop in my 2 teaspoons of lime juice. Next, my 6 fresh kaffir lime leaves, which I've just shredded up a bit. Oh, they smell so good. And then I do have one final but very quick cook. So we just have a 3-minute cook left. So I'm just putting that on now. But look, even though this recipe is saying it has 28 steps, I hope you'll agree it really wasn't too complicated. Like, it's really been fairly easy to just walk through that. My husband has made this curry completely unsupervised. And I think if you aren't used to using Cookidoo or you haven't cooked with Cookidoo before, it's worth trying to get hands-on with the Thermomix just to give Cookidoo a try, if nothing else. My dad, my brother, and my husband all have access to a TM6, and they are all agreed that while they think it's an absolutely amazing machine, the game changer for them as men is a cooking appliance that is telling them every single step of the way, every single thing they need to do. So if you do have any aspirations to encourage the men in your life to perhaps help cook a bit more in the kitchen, why not book a demo and get them in front of a Thermomix so they can see how fantastic it is and how much they may enjoy using it. I do always like to tell people it's the Ferrari of the kitchen. That when we started and I went up to speed 10, those blades inside the mixing bowl were moving at 250 kilometres an hour. And when you use the turbo function, they actually go at 270 kilometres an hour. So if your road to a Thermomix in your kitchen includes persuading your husband, you might want to share some of those facts with him.
Amazing. Thanks, Angela. We have a poll we're going to run, so I might just do that now because what I find is I don't manage to get it done until like towards the end, and then everyone's gone. So just give me 1 second. I think this is the right one. Just give me a sec.
Just while you're doing that, Claire,
Yeah.
I just quickly popped in the milk, the butter, a little bit of salt,
Oh, hang on.
nutmeg.
Not that one. Sorry. Keep going, Megs.
But I just want to show everybody, this is our mashed potato. So this is for 2. So all I did was pop in, and that looks really great consistency as well. So I popped in the milk, 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk, a tablespoon of butter. I don't put the nutmeg in. My husband doesn't like it. The peeler recipe doesn't ask for the parmesan, but I had some parmesan, which the recipe without the peeler. So I just popped in a little bit of parmesan as well. So that's the potato ready to go. And I have 27 seconds left to show you the thing, but you should do your poll first. And as a reward,
Right.
I'll show you what's happening.
I found it. Let's go. All right. So there's just 3 simple questions for you guys. If you're interested in hosting a demo, if you're interested in purchasing a Thermomix, if you don't already have one, or if you do, just put that you're an owner. And if you're interested in finding out more about becoming a consultant. We are absolutely looking for consultants in all of our areas across Australia and New Zealand, and probably the UK. I just don't know what their business is like over there. Can you guys see that poll? You might need, if you had the other one that I brought up, you might need to X out of that one. Can everyone see that? I don't have anyone who's responded, so I'm like, maybe you can't see it.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Oh, good. And I will
Thank you,
also,
Stephen.
if you finish the poll, you're welcome to send it off. All right, well, I'm just going to end that now. So, Megs, are you ready to go? Thank you, guys.
So I'm just doing the next step. So I've just added 120 grams of red wine, 15 grams of plain flour. So here we're just preparing to help thicken. We're going to do some beef stock. Claire talked about the chicken stock. I always have 3 on the go. And this is my beef stock. And I actually use a tomato paste container for all of my stocks. So that way I can just scooch it straight in like that, and it's super easy. And then, oh, actually tomato paste as well. You can make your own tomato paste, but I haven't for tonight's demonstration. The most important step here, and you can ask me to tell you about it another time, is what happens when you don't follow the instructions. So right now it tells me to put my simmering basket on top of the Thermomix. I didn't do that one time because I was like, it's okay. But I'm going to cook for 3 minutes at 120 degrees. Currently it's 50, and it's actually mixing all of that together. So the flour, the red wine, the tomato paste, and the beef stock. And so you can imagine that splattered with a different kitchen, but all over the kitchen. So the reason that sometimes it changes from our guard here to this is actually a measuring cup. And Claire, I just realized that one of these is yours because it has your initials on it. And then this is the simmering basket. So some of the recipes have requests for different things to sit on top, and that's to support you in regards to we're cooking at 120 degrees. So with that heat, wow, the steam can come out of the Thermomix.
So I'm just going to answer Katie's question. So I will send out an email tomorrow with the recording and also all the links to the recipes. Naomi Bowden and Beck McAllister help us do amazing ebooks for you guys. So I will send the ebook. It'll have links to all of the recipes, the mix shop items we're using, and also if you want to follow any of the girls on socials who are here today, then you'll have those as well. Megs, that looks amazing.
It is amazing. I just made that and you were all here with me. And that is the, that cook time that we just did. So that is the beef cheek. And what we've done is we've seared for about 400 grams. And then we're about to add it into the bowl with another 400 grams that hasn't been seared and some vegetables. So we've got about a minute before we're going to do that. But that is your award. Thank you, everyone, for doing the little survey that Claire asked you. Oh, my gosh, it smells amazing.
So just while Megs does that, I'm going to show you how I finish my dish. So I've got it here. Now, this is also, you can buy the trivettes from the mix shop with the cast iron pots. There's also some really cool handles that can sit on all three of our pot range. So that makes it easy to handle. Now, this is finished, and it says to add some spinach. It says to add baby spinach, but I've got a lot of silver beet in my garden. So I just add that in to the bowl with the hot creamy sauce. And I stir that with a spatula. So it doesn't say to cook it anymore, just stir it in to soften that a little. It won't be as soft as if it was baby spinach, but it does soften. It all gets baked in the oven. So then the next step is to preheat the oven to 200 degrees. I'm actually just going to save this one for tomorrow because there's no point me cooking it now. And then you pour it all over your chicken. And I do like to add a little bit of extra spinach. I'm sure the kids are really happy about that. And
they're thrilled.
Yeah, I know. They'll look at this and go, oh, my God. But the spinach will actually crisp up on the outside and soften on the inside under the chicken in the sauce. And look at that. It always looks amazing even before it goes in the oven. And so that one then cooks in the oven for 35 minutes at 200 degrees. So there's my dinner ready to bake tomorrow night. There you go.
Alrighty, I have this to show everybody. So this is what we just did in thickening the red wine with the flour and the stock. And our next step is we're going to add in, I'm just going to take this off the lid because it's not going to get into our dish and we don't want to lose any of this delicious flavor. So we're going to add in some, oops, I just missed the bowl, awkward. We're going to add in some brown mushrooms and some button mushrooms and some carrots, which I prepared earlier. I highly recommend becoming a consultant because you'll get really good at prepping. So when you do cooking classes, you have everything ready to go, and that also makes cooking time a lot quicker. So I've got button mushrooms here. It says cut into halves. I'm going to do 120 grams of those. Sometimes I add in a little bit more depending on what's in the fridge. And then I have 100 grams of squish. So this is, we're getting everything ready for our big long cook. Oh, fabulous. And then 2 carrots. Now, an important thing about the carrots is it says 2.5 centimeters. Anyone got a ruler and you can measure that and tell me how did I go with my 2.5 centimeters? My husband helped one night and he just chopped the carrots and popped them in. But remembering that we have a 5-hour cook, so it's important not to cut the carrots too thin because they won't be there in 5 hours. So then we're going to put in 200 grams of carrots. Oh, so good. And then finally, always got to throw in a bay leaf. Again, I like to throw in more than one. It says 2, so I might put in a couple there. They're a bit broken. 130 grams of water. There we go. Now, here it says the 400 grams of beef cheek, so that's the rest that I cut up earlier. As I mentioned before, it's really tough to cut. So just be mindful of that when you are preparing. It surprised me the first time. And then I'm going to put in on top of that the reserve beef cheek. Let me just show you all before what that looked like. Oh, so good. So
Meg,
I'm just going to pop that.
A knife that would be amazing for the beef cheeks.
Go on.
This one. Do you have this one yet?
I do not, Claire. The one thing in the mix shop I don't know.
I know Megs says so much. So this is actually a Thermomix knife from the mix shop, and it's super big and amazing for big sort of chunky cuts of meat. There you go.
Great. So that's all in the bowl now. I'm going to put the simmering basket on top and I'm going to hit go, and it's going to cook now for the next 5 hours. And that'll be something ready for me to have for tomorrow, or I could pop it in the freezer. It's a really good one to divvy up and I can take to the office as well. However, I did promise you, here's what it's going to look like when we're done. Absolutely delicious. I cannot wait to have that for dinner tonight with my mashed potato. And that's the beef cheek bourguignon. Oh, I'm going to drop my bourguignon.
Do not. I want to share these pears that were in my mulled wine are amazingly delicious. So don't throw them away. They're really good. Shiraz flavored curds.
I even got out the white vermiserver because this one you can use to make yogurt in the Varoma, and it's another host reward. And we love coming to do demos with you, and all you need is you plus 2 people. And it's a qualifying demo, which means you get a host reward regardless of the outcome. And it's super fun and we can inspire you. There's a great menu available, or talk to your consultant and have a look at what would work best for you.
And aren't you making yogurt for us for our Indian cooking class in Canberra on Saturday?
Look, Claire, it's true. It's a big week this week. We have an in-person cooking class in Canberra. If you haven't got a ticket, join us because we'll be making some fabulous things. And one thing I'll be making is yogurt for our cooking class, which I've never made before. And just between you, me, and everybody here, I'm quietly terrified. But, you know, I'm a brave consultant. I've learned a lot in the last 2.5 years. That was one of the benefits of becoming a consultant as well, is building my confidence and trying new things that I haven't tried before and trusting myself. And Cookidoo, you just do as you're told, really. Do as you're told, it all works out.
It does. You're still here, so it's okay. All right, so Angela, where are you up to? Is yours almost finished, or is it finished?
Mine's all done and dusted.
Beautiful.
So that's our finished curry still in the bowl. The final step does say to let it rest for 5 minutes in the bowl before serving. Now, I'm going to actually heat this up for dinner tomorrow night. But if I had been cooking it for tonight's dinner, rather than letting it rest for 5 minutes in the bowl, I would have popped it in my standard thermo server just to let it keep warm in there for 15, 20 minutes while I then use the Thermomix to steam some rice ready to serve with that. So that's how I would usually have done it if I was planning to eat it tonight, but I'll just heat it up tomorrow and cook the rice fresh tomorrow. But yeah, of course, our beautiful insulating thermo servers keep your hot food hot and your cold food cold till you're ready to consume them. Great when you're doing a dish like this and you need to, like Meg was doing, if you've got to make some mashed potatoes, we've got to make some rice at the end, or if you going all out with a dinner party and you're trying to keep certain things warm or cold till you're ready for them. Very handy to have.
So handy. I have 13 in my bottom drawer in my kitchen. I use all of them, all different sizes, of course. That's what you get when you've been a consultant for 12 years, Megs. I'm sure Ilham's got quite a few as well. The one last thing I wanted to share with you guys, our next cooking class next month in July is actually our magazine edition. So if you came to our last magazine edition, it was lots of fun. So we're going to cook you some of the recipes from our brand new winter magazine that's launching at the end of this month. If you've got a consultant that you're in touch with, reach out to them about their launch party, their magazine launch party. So we're running those from the 24th of June onwards, and we'll be cooking with you in our home. So if you're keen for that, definitely get in touch with your consultant and ask them when they're hosting theirs. Oh, Meg, show us just a little. Oh, are we allowed to show? We are allowed to show. We're not allowed to show. Oh. Maybe a little sneak peek. Oh, there's the back. There you go. So you've got to come along to our launch party to see the amazing magazine and what's inside of it. And there will obviously be a sneak peek collection in Cookidoo until the magazine is out and, sold out, and then you'll get a full collection of it on Cookidoo. So I think, is there anything else from us that we needed to show or share? We're good? Beautiful. Did anyone need to see the mash? Megs, did you show your final result of the mash? I only asked because, awesome.
Yeah, so I just did that. There was a minute in between. So all I did was just, again, follow the instructions on Cookidoo. I added 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk, a tablespoon of butter. I added a little bit of Parmesan. One recipe has it, one recipe doesn't. It's up to you. I don't add the nutmeg because my husband doesn't like it. And it's 10 seconds and it's beautiful mash and a great consistency. So I do add more potatoes sometimes. This says for 2. I like to have more potatoes. This is a winter warmer class after all. And also I have some leftovers to go with my beef bourguignon tomorrow. So all I do is extend the cooking time and then I just check the potatoes before I move on to this step as well.
I love that 3 of us have dinner ready for tomorrow. Sorry, Ilham, you've got dessert.
I'm a sweet tooth, so I'm happy.
That's awesome. And for anyone who has questions about the mash, Megs did not use the butterfly to whip that up. It was just with the blades, which I know there's a lot of confusion around using the butterfly for mash. You don't have to use it. If you want super pureed, you can, but put it in after the potatoes are cooked, not before. Yeah.
And never go over 4 when you're using the butterfly whisk. Otherwise, you won't have a butterfly whisk anymore.
Because there's only 4 wings on a butterfly.
Oh, so good.
We've been saying that for a long time, just maybe hasn't circled around for a while.
I did not know that until tonight. See, even as a consultant, I keep learning things.
All right. Well, look, thank you so much, guys, for jumping on and giving up your time to share your passion for the Thermomix tonight. And to all of our beautiful customers out there, whether you have a Thermomix or don't have a Thermomix, thank you for joining us. And we will see you at the next one. I will send out the email tomorrow. So you've got the link for the next class and also the recording and recipes.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.